time.
Thank you.
Hi, welcome to the Unusual Suspects podcast, episode 172.
That's a lot.
Yes, thank you for joining us. It is November 4th, and today we will have a new mayor of New York City, and we'll go around the table and give our predictions and maybe play some friendly wagers on who will be the next mayor of New York. Andrew Cuomo, Zohran Mamdani. Actually sounds like a cool name. If it wasn't a guy that's going to destroy the financial capital of the United States of America becoming mayor, it would sound like that's a cool rapper. I would listen to Zohran Mamdani or Curtis Sliwa.
He did have a rap career.
Did he?
There's videos out there.
Yeah, but when your parents are rich, bro, and you could just go up there and make stupid, horrible videos. But, bro, I tried to tell everybody yesterday, I said New York City, I picture New York, and you know this, Jake, as a New Yorker. New York City is on the edge of the George Washington Bridge about to, commit suicide. All of New York. And the nation is trying to be like, yo, come back. It's okay. Don't do it. But they're like, no. We're going to do it. And we're trying. And we're saying step back from the ledge. But sometimes, people don't listen, bro.
In case you have not been paying attention, yesterday, Donald Trump came out, the president of the United States of America, 45 and 47, came out and supported Andrew Cuomo, although begrudgingly. Could you pull up the tweet real quick, Connor, if you could? It was almost like, it's the best case scenario right now. I'm not a big fan of him. But
I did not have that on my 2025 bingo card.
What, him endorsing Andrew Cuomo?
Yes.
Well, I can't believe that it's such a populous city, and yet these are the two candidates that are actually in contention. Could you zoom all the way up to the top? Is that it? Yeah, I can't read that, Connor. Go. No. Yeah, zoom in. That's too much. Okay. All right.
Never going to be
communist candidate Zohran Mamdani wins the election for mayor of New York City, it is highly unlikely that I will be contributing federal funds other than the very minimum as required to my beloved first home because of the fact that, as a communist, this once great city has, in all caps, zero chance of success or even survival. It can only get worse with a communist at the helm, and I don't want to send, as president, good money after bad. It is my obligation to run the nation, and it is my strong conviction that the New York City will be a complete and total. Why does he capitalize the way that he does? It's almost like he just randomly picks a letter and goes, I'll go C, capital on complete.
Because I read it like that. When I say record of complete and total failure.
Economic and social disaster should Mamdani, yippee-yo, obop shabam. At the bottom, a vote for Curtis Sliwa, who looks much better without the beret.
Why does he have to do that?
Vinnie.
You can't have the beret.
No. It's part of his New York story. I support the beret.
He is anti-beret.
I'm beret all
But you know
day.
why, Jay? I'm anti-beret because not coming from me because I know what it stands for. The majority of the people that are going to be voting, because it's the younger people that are going to be voting for the free stuff, they see a beret, and if you're not a French guy, if it's not like some ratatouille shit, they're like, I don't like that. No, I can't.
If you're not selling newspapers in the 20s, what are you wearing a caveat for?
Yeah, you're in the United States, bro. Put on the Yankee hat, he wins.
A vote for Sliwa is a vote for Mamdani. Whether you personally like Andrew Cuomo or not, you really have no choice. You must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job. He is capable of... I can't read that. Of it. Okay, Mamdani is out. Yeah. So that was your president of the United States of America yesterday. I don't know why so late with the endorsement, but either way, Elon Musk also came out yesterday and told voters to go out, and he's been very active today on Twitter. So New York City, good luck to you. Joining us today, we have an activist, political prisoner who spent 900 days in solitary confinement. He is a candidate for the United States Senate, and he was recently pardoned by the president of the United States, Donald Trump. Jake Lang joining us. Welcome to the program, Jake. Thank you for making the trip.
Bless.
Guy's a patriot. He's a freaking patriot.
We're home, baby. America's back. Let's go.
I have so many questions for you, but first of all, let's start with what everybody probably asks you about, which is January 6th. Okay, you're on the Capitol January 6th. Take us through the day, why you were there, what happened, and then the ensuing days after, so we can have a full scope as to your activities that day at the Capitol, and then what happened to you immediately afterwards.
I have a hot take on this. I was at the Capitol because of Andrew Cuomo.
Oh, are you serious?
I'm a New Yorker.
Okay.
Andrew Cuomo, we call it the Cuomo virus in New York.
Okay.
Coronavirus was abject tyranny in New York City, where I lived during 2019, 2020. I lived there for many years. the city was in literal dystopian police state lockdown. We had actual curfews, 8 p.m. You weren't allowed to take the subway after 8 p.m. The city bike shut down, Lyft, Uber. It was like a technological dystopian police state shutdown. And my business fell through, everything. Everybody around me. Most people packed up and moved down here to Fort Lauderdale, West Palm, Miami. And so my way of life changed. All of ours did. And I got disgusted, and I saw President Joe Biden as an actual threat to the freedom of America in the future, thinking that as all the Democrat mayors and governors did, they just locked down and put in these draconian rules, right? So I saw Joe Biden as a never-ending COVID lockdown. You pair that in with the stolen election, disenfranchising me and millions of Americans, it was basically putting tinder right into this fire, throwing a match on gasoline. And we went down to the Capitol. We were peaceful, and the Capitol Police attacked us. Once you've been locked in for a year, right? Red-blooded American men, gun owners, patriots, Republicans, locked in our houses for a year. Our voices stolen from us, and then bullied by Nancy Pelosi's stormtroopers at the Capitol. In fact, murdered 4 unarmed Americans, lost their lives that day. You add all those things together, and what do you get? A 1776 uprising of the American patriot, which ended in one of the most historic visuals ever. We, the people, without a single shot fired, without a single violent intention of our own, ended up in the United States, seat of power, just regular everyday people from Wisconsin, flyover states, sitting there in the speaker's chair. It was a beautiful thing to see. Finally, pushback. Finally, masculinity. Finally, a little bit of veracity in the American people saying, you can't push us this far. There was a line in the sand that our forefathers drew, and is when tyranny is afoot in America, the patriots will stand up. And that's what I went to the Capitol for, to stand up, not for violence, but to make my voice heard, to push back, to file a redress of grievance. That's a constitutional First Amendment right, and to stand as an American with a million other of my brothers and sisters and pray in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ and influence our elected officials, showing them this is the will of the people, that President Donald J. Trump won that election, that the Democrats stole the election, and that we want to recount. So when they didn't listen to us, we showed them how Americans really are at the end of the day.
So let me ask a question. Let's start first. You're in New York City during COVID. How old are you now?
I'm 30 years old now.
So you're 30 years old. So this is going on. This is 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So you're 24 years old. You said that your business shut down. What was your line of work before? And were you politically active before January 6th?
Yeah, like a lot of men my age, more like on the libertarian and the smallest government possible. We want to see the government like microscopic.
I don't disagree with any of that.
Right? And I had e-commerce businesses that I ran, but I also was involved in hospitality in New York, deeply involved, 7 nights a week out, making business contacts, doing what young men do, running around in New York City. And when they took that from me, I didn't have a bar, a restaurant, anywhere to go to, right? All of a sudden at nighttime, you're like, oh, man. And it was obviously bad for my business side of things and my social life, but personally, God was able to use that in my life, and I think millions of people's lives, to take a look in the mirror and say, take a check on your lifestyle. Me, I was out too much, partying too much, and so I came closer to Christ during that time, started reading the Bible. But you shouldn't be tyrannically forced to go after Jesus Christ because you have nothing else to do, right? Because your government locks down every single, entertainment and small mom and pop shop. Then you have to turn towards God. That's the way things are. A lot of people turn towards God in jail, right? Because of when you take away everything from somebody, the only thing left is your root, your nature with God. But yeah, I was a businessman in New York, really enjoying my young life. I was very successful.
So is it fair to say COVID is what woke you up? Is that what was the defining moment for you to start?
Ignited a fire of revolution in my heart, as it should. When the government rains down tyranny on people, we shouldn't recoil into submissive, supine position. We should rise up as Americans, and that's what January 6th was.
Now, let's get to that. Okay, so if according to the authorities, and I'm going to read exactly what the authorities say, and then I'd like for your input and pushback and feedback. You were arrested on January 16th, 2021, so this was 10 days after. Where were you when you got arrested?
I was upstate New York, about 45 minutes outside New York City.
Okay. You were indicted on 11 counts, including multiple assaults on law enforcement. According to prosecutors, they say, not me, they say that you wielded a riot shield and an aluminum baseball bat. Connor, I believe you found, is that you?
That is Jake Lang in the flesh.
Okay. All right, cool. All right.
That's you in the front?
So
That's me in the
with
front.
a Di Marini bat.
What we don't see, let's measure this. So I mean, that's pretty hardcore rock
it's
and
not
roll.
like you came with.
I didn't come with any of that. Literally, not even the gas mask, not the baseball bat, not the riot shield. I found all of those things in the middle of what was.
What do you mean you found them?
Okay,
So
but let me
you're
measure
walking-
everything first. The bottom of this photo, what you don't see, is a woman named Roseanne Boylan who's dead underneath my feet.
Yeah,
right
'cause,
there.
okay, you
I'm
said
I'm
four
trying
people-
to push back the police that murdered her.
Did they shoot her or did they beat her?
They trampled her to death. They sprayed her, chemically asphyxiated her. She was doused.
And this is
with
one of the
CS
4
gas.
unarmed people
Yes.
that you say. See, I've
So
only
that
heard.
you see this and you think I'm a criminal, right? But what you don't realize is there's women dying and men need to stand up. You see the picture? All the men there. We formed this like semicircle to protect the women from the Capitol Police were like encroaching. They had like baton death march orders to kill Americans.
When you say that you found this equipment, are there piles of these shields and batons laying around almost as if they were left for people to grab and use? Or are you like, well, I just found one that was there and no one else was grabbing them? Like, how frequent are these weapons, not weapons, but these devices being left around or available on the Capitol the day of January 6th?
So this is going to be some headline news because I don't think I broke this in any major podcast ever. That baseball bat was handed to me by an avowed Antifa member that had said in his court documents that he was at the Capitol to get Trump supporters killed. I was in the middle of using the riot shield, which was found on the ground. A lot of police officers ditched them when they ran inside. And the gas mask was also found on the ground inside that tunnel. A protester dropped it, and I put it on, picked up the riot shield, and I was pushing against the police who were pushing against us because we were trying to save human lives right there. But the baseball bat, when you're in the middle of that fury there, you're fighting for your life, you're in self-defense mode, fight or flight. I'm literally like using the riot shield, not hurting anybody with it. And all of a sudden, this baseball bat literally materializes in my hand. And the guy who did it, named Josiah Kenyon, he was an avowed Antifa member that was passing out weapons to Trump supporters to try to escalate. And God knows what kind of confidential human sources or what other type of federal FBI assets that these Antifa members were working with.
We just found out there were 600 or... All together,
274 undercovers, but with a ton of other DHS.
Yeah.
You have local plainclothes.
Yep.
There was probably on Capitol grounds FBI 274 Kash Patel just came out with, and including plainclothes, Capitol police officers, all that stuff. Probably at least 600-700 in the crowd that day.
So let me ask you a question, Jake. How do they know? Like, you weren't out there with a sign. You weren't showing you can't see your face. How do they find you? Well, how do they know that it's you?
So I was pretty proud of what I did that day.
I can tell.
Our founding father, George Washington, can be seen 300 years prior, 250 years prior, standing behind me right there, also fighting alongside the spirit of our founding fathers. When the American government is afraid of the people, we have freedom. When the people are afraid of the government, we have tyranny. And Thomas Jefferson told us that the American people need to time and time again remind the government of the spirit of rebellion that started this country. So that's what January 6th was. And at the end of the day, no police officers died.
Yep.
None of them are permanently injured, and we did what Americans do. We pushed back. We showed our unity, the strength that we have when we stand together.
How they find you? Just really fast, I want to ask.
Yeah, so I posted on my Instagram, "This is me, come arrest me."
Okay. All right.
You will be, I said, you were on the wrong side of history. This is me, come arrest me. 1776, liberty or death.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I want to ask one question. So number one, I believe, and I know because the proof is there, that they cheated in 2020 with Joe Biden keeping him in the basement, the ballot boxes covering up the wall so nobody could see the votes, the ballots, the Hunter Biden laptop, all that, bro, all that suppression. I 100% believe in that. Number one. Number two, the FBI, plain clothes, doing all that stuff, shooting tear gas and all that shit, rubber bullets to antagonize, shooting the gas, doing all that stuff. I appreciate the fact that, because my thing is this, bro, during BLM, you know what I mean? That cop was kneeling, Derek Chauvin, on George Floyd, who was a scumbag, and he died, and okay, whatever happened, he actually died from the drugs. But the people rose up and burned down their own cities. They killed each other. They burned down churches. They burned down black-owned businesses, and it was supposed to be BLM. So I think that's completely stupid. I think when there's a problem with the system, you go to the system. I agree 1,000%. In hindsight, though, when it comes to, and I'm with it, legally, like, think about this, though, but before all that, even knowing all this stuff, you could understand how somebody could say, if you hit a cop or you beat somebody up, I see in this photo that you're protecting, but in a scenario where people are like, wait a minute, did you break the law? Because yeah, they're firing the gas, Jake. They're antagonizing you guys. But if somebody beat the shit out of a cop, they should be arrested. Does that make sense?
100%. And, the way that the legality around something like this happens is there's actually 3 different levels of legal principle that actually defends you. You have right to self-defense. If a police officer is making an unlawful arrest on you,
fight back.
Right, you're allowed to fight back using equal force to keep yourself protected. If he's using a baton, you're allowed to use a bat.
Yes.
So that's the first legal principle. Second one, the woman dying, defense of a third person. You are also, if you walk down an alley and 2 police officers are curb stomping some woman, right, or whatever, they're hurting some woman, and there doesn't seem to be any legal reason behind it, you're allowed to also defend a third person against police or just a random, if you being a good Samaritan.
Yes.
So there's a third legal principle, and this one's the inflammatory one, Founding Fathers' legal principle. The right to defend our country versus tyranny, which is supremacy. That's what the Second Amendment's based around. That's what the direct Declaration of Independence is based around, saying that when the government is repugnant to the rights and the will of the people have the right.
It's your obligation.
Obligation. It's our duty to make sure that government is reformed to match the will of the people. And I'm not saying January 6th we were there to reform the government. People will take that out of context. But at the end of the day, our lawmakers were refusing to acknowledge 1 million Americans outside the building saying, hey, we want to send these votes back to the state legislator. You need to listen to the will of the people. They completely ignored us. They stole the election, and then they bullied us. They fired upon us first. Unarmed Americans, peaceful protesters. So what do you expect to happen? This is not...
And this is the plan, though, Jay. If you think about it, kudos to them for being good at being a piece of, you know what? Pelosi turning down the National Guard, them going in there. Bro, I saw them. I saw Antifa changing into outfits and looking like different people. It was set up. You guys were set up to do it. Like, you guys were set up for failure from the beginning because they knew you guys were coming. They knew there was going to be a protest. I mean, look at Trump's been suing people left and right for saying, go to the Capitol and do this. BBC just got in trouble. They just got exposed for trying to make it seem like he said, go there and go there and fight. He said go there and peacefully protest, and it turned into what it turned into. Go ahead, Rob.
Well, as a guy that was there on January 6th and you were inside the Capitol, when it comes to President Trump, the media has blamed him for January 6th, like you just said. Yep. They framed it like he was the one that told people to do these actions. At any point during any time, were you told by President Donald Trump to break into the Capitol and do what you did? Or did you do that because you love the country? And you thought you were doing what was right?
I did that because I love our constitutional republic so much I'd lay down my life for it. And President Trump told us, in fact, remain peaceful, right? Peacefully and patriotically. That's just peacefully, patriotically.
Yes, he did.
Go to the Capitol and support our brave lawmakers. Those are his exact words. And we went to the Capitol. What we didn't we expected at the Capitol, there were permitted speaking events there. So there was supposed to be a lineup of speakers. Stop the Steal was an official organization behind this. And when we got to the Capitol, none of the speaker booths were set up. The Capitol Police were already hitting people with flash grenades and concussion grenades. And so they turned it into a, defend yourself or run like cowards scenario. And we said, no, this is the people's house, red, white, and blue. These colors do not run. You're not going to bully us at the people's house. And so we went inside the building. And eventually we said, we're coming in.
And how long were you inside the building for?
So that right there, that picture, again, that is the inaugural tunnel. That's the tunnel the President of the United States comes out on the the West Terrace of the United States Capitol. If you consider that inside the Capitol, it's like a breezeway. It's like a doorway to a building. Technically, I wasn't inside any type of, unauthorized area. But, yes, I made it inside that tunnel right there. And that tunnel was a 2 to 3 hour long melee of the police and the protesters, people dying, them beating up women. There's this woman, I'm going to bring up her name quickly. If you have Google, which you all do, Google Victoria White. Victoria White was a woman that was inside that tunnel, completely unarmed, right? Just kind of following the crowd, right? Herd mentality, everyone follows each other. And the Capitol Police mercilessly beat this woman to a pulp for no reason. She's a tiny little 5'2" thing. And the way that they're repeatedly, they got her by the hair and like drilling, punching her in the face. There's footage of this, yes. Okay. Victoria White. And so I saw that personally with my own eyes, and I saw other egregious acts of police misconduct and brutality that got my blood boiling to the point where, I'm like, screw this, we're pushing back. These people are not going to kill us and maim us and murder us in the people's house. And that was the energy of every man there that day, and that's what it should be.
Can I ask you one question? Ray Epps, 100%. He got, a misdemeanor? We all know who he was. Who was he, if you had to guess, who was he working for?
I would say he would even be outside the FBI's purview, maybe Department of Homeland Security. DHS has, because of the Patriot Act, they have almost carte blanche to really run these type of nefarious operations, both on Homeland, and abroad and whatnot. So I would say it almost reeks like CIA, DHS, deep state stuff.
Because he was the one promoting.
The FBI's like to arrest grandmas. DHS is a little more sophisticated in running operations like that.
Yeah, because if you saw all the tapes, I'm pretty sure you did. He was the one leading the charge, saying, guys, tomorrow we're going in the Capitol. And people kept saying, Fed. All that, all grandmothers got arrested for not even being there. This guy got a misdemeanor slap on the wrist, spent no time in jail. And I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I think that was one of the main guys inciting violence, inciting the riot, and he got away scot-free.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I think it's a no-brainer. He worked for one of these organizations, bro. Give me a break.
Now, all right. So that's one photo, but they charge you with 11 counts, including multiple assaults on law enforcement. Can you walk us through what the actual counts were, and then what they said those charges were for?
Yeah. So originally this was a pressure tactic that they upped my charges throughout my time incarcerated. So back this up to the beginning. I spent 1,467 days incarcerated without ever having a trial. Jeez. I was never found guilty of any crime.
Wait, all right. So
1,406. That ends up being 4 years and 6 days.
You were locked up.
I was locked up the entire presidency of Joe Biden. Joe Biden was never my president.
Wow. That's hilarious.
And so during this time, right?
Question.
I started off with 4 charges.
Before that, have you ever been in trouble with the law any point in your entire adult life? Look, not like a kid egging houses, but have you ever been in trouble with the law prior to?
I have no record.
So, I have to. You're a guy, and look, I was somebody from the other side who didn't wake up until after COVID. Once I started realizing the shit with the COVID passports, we lived in Florida. Everything was normal. I don't know where you were. I know you were in California. In Florida, things were normal. You could still go out. It wasn't like the world shut down. So I didn't experience the same COVID you experienced. What I experienced was the draconian. I thank you. The draconian measures that were taken with the COVID passports and the vaccine.
Yeah.
And that's what made me wake up. But after that had happened after January 6th. So at the point where I'm seeing this going on, I'm like, well, this is trespassing at a minimum. So, yeah, these guys should probably get like a fine. There's no way I would have looked at this. Now, again, I don't know your charges, and I don't know more than what this photo is until you tell us. But there's no way I would think a guy without any criminal history, never being arrested, never being through the court system, would face 4 years and 6 days in jail while waiting for a trial, not even being convicted of anything.
We applied 3 times for bond. Bond is the same thing that all these freaking looters, rioters, these career criminals, Irina Zaruski's murderer, that deranged lunatic. These people have a revolving door of bond in New York, Chicago, wherever. They can commit almost any heinous act, but right below murder. And sometimes they actually get bonded out for murder, too, and they commit another murder. But I was never offered bond, which is a violation of the 8th Amendment of the Constitution right there. It's cruel and unusual punishment and right to bond, reasonable bond. 3 times I applied. Family put up property worth millions of dollars and stuff. No, can't go home. No criminal record, right? No evidence that I'll ever do this or ever have done this again. But they wouldn't let me go home to fight my case from home. They kept me in 900 days of solitary confinement.
So you're 24 to 28, you're locked up, which I Do you remember 24 to 28 for you?
Best years of my life.
That's what I'm saying. And okay, so they charge you with 11 counts. Walk us through the 11 counts quickly.
So multiple assault charges, ended up getting 7 assault charges, but it only started off with 4. No assault charges in the beginning. They wanted me to testify against President Trump in the second impeachment hearing and say you can go home. When I said no, I would never do that. I have honor, integrity. You have to have those things. You can't wake up in the mirror and rat on the greatest president in the world. First of all, bear false witness, not even rat. Ratting would be saying, something that happened.
Yeah.
Bearing false witness would be like, yeah, Trump made me do it, which is completely false. And so when I refused to take that plea deal, that offer, then they upped me up to 8 charges. Then they said, it's going to be 6 years in prison for this plea deal. You have to, at the end of the day, to take it or not, you're going to have to write in a statement saying that you're guilty, saying that President Trump influenced this. You have to plead guilty to obstruction of Congress, a 20-year felony charge, right? The same charge they charged President Trump with. This charge, 20-year felony charge, we beat in Supreme Court. I ended up saying 2 years extra without a trial, going up from the district court to the appellate court to the Supreme Court for this one charge because 360 January 6 patriots were charged with this. And special counsel Jack Smith ended up charging President Trump with 1512 obstruction of Congress, 20-year felony charge. The Supreme Court overruled it, and it actually got struck from President Trump's indictment, criminal indictment, and my indictment, which radically changed my whole entire thing. So when I beat them on that, then they upped me from 8 to 12 charges. They just started contriving charges, basically. In the federal definition of assault, you can intimidate an officer and it's assault. So if you go like that, right, that's assault charge on an officer.
I flinched.
All right, Jake. No, Jake. We have all the facts here. We know where your heart was at. You want to go out there, defend America, very noble. But where's your head at? Do you regret anything? Like, is there any points during the journey? Like, because here I see that this happened on January 6th, and then they didn't catch until January 16th. Those 10 days, what were you thinking about?
I formed a militia during those 10 days.
Oh, great.
That's what I was thinking about.
I would think waffles at the Waffle House on the way back to New York.
I do not regret anything about
You
January
didn't
6th.
nothing at all.
I regret
How about
missing
posting
my
on Facebook?
sister.
That's not very smart.
I regret.
Huh?
No, definitely not. I would do that again. I
will
regret
do that
missing
again.
family members' funerals, weddings, deep moments of my life to spend with the ones I love. Of course, I regret those things. But I'm lucky to come home. Our military lays down their life to defend this country. They never get to go home. Ashley Babbitt never enjoys another birthday.
Michael Bird.
He needs to go to
And he's
prison.
not-
They murder him.
yeah.
And so if President Trump were to put out a tweet right now saying, I need people at the Capitol, I'd leave Valuetainment Studios, get in my car, and drive to D.C. right now and be standing right
Do
where
it
I was again. And do it again because our country is worth fighting for. Freedom is worth dying for. Freedom is not free. It is paved and it is drenched in the blood of patriots and tyrants.
All right.
And I respect that. So I want to ask you, so 2 things. One, and you can answer both, Jake. Well, one is the solitary confinement, 900. How many days?
900.
That's insane. What is that? What does that entail? What's your day look like in solitary confinement? Bathroom breaks, sunlight. Are you seeing anything? Number one, and then number 2, you did all that, and I understand where he's coming from. I believe in my heart of hearts they cheated. I believe that the left is. Don't get me wrong. All politicians are what they are. But I believe in fighting for this country. If you don't step up, we'll easily become England and all these places, and we're the greatest country in the world. So first is a solitary confinement, and number 2, you did everything that you did. You have a record for the rest of your life. You fought.
I don't have a record. I was completely
completely done.
First of all, I was never convicted of a crime.
Okay.
So my case actually ended up being dismissed. When pardons came, I'm not even technically pardoned.
Okay.
My case, I would have to be
got
found
dis-
guilty.
so
I was dismissed.
So this is assault charges. They made them up just to.
No, they didn't make those up, but they have a justification, a legal justification behind why did you assault? If a woman is being mugged by 2 random people, and you go and you cap one of them, right, because she has a gun to her head, you've committed what is legally defined as murder. But you could be exonerated, justifiable
because you
murder
saved their
because
life.
it was in self-defense. So those are 2 different things. Did you assault people? That's by the legal definition of assault. No, I was acting in self-defense, so I did not assault people. I actually defended myself, self-defense. So I did what they said I did, but it's why I did it, and am I justified for doing it? I believe in any red state. If I wasn't in the deepest swamp, 97% Kamala Harris voting jury pool, I believe I'd have been exonerated on all my charges in Texas, Florida, you name it, Tennessee. But in D.C., it was
it.
like a
Forget
lamb to the slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
It was a complete railroad Soviet show trial. You had no chance of justice.
So just really fast, Humberto. So solitary confinement, I want to know what that was. And then second part, with everything that you've been through, with everything that you've done, with your guy, which is Donald Trump, which is my guy as well, up to this point, this new 4 years, are you happy with what he's doing? And if there's anything that you don't like, I want to know. Because, I mean, you're like, I mean, I think he's one of the greatest presidents. Yeah, he's crazy and, okay, whatever. But everything that he's doing right now, I mean, bro, there's no way Kamala or anybody could do anything. He goes
unpredictable.
hold on. He's still going to be one of the best. So yeah, solitary confinement. And then are you happy because you did what you did for this guy? And now, what aren't you happy about?
I have one statement. 4 more years. President Trump has my undying, unwavering loyalty for the rest of my life. He saved my family. He saved all my brothers. We became brothers in arms in the basement of D.C. jail with vermin running around at our feet in solitary confinement, praying in the name of Lord Jesus, baptizing some of these J6 men. He brought them home to their wives. He brought them home to their families. This man did what no other man would have done. Not even J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance actually 2 weeks before the inauguration, said, we're not going to pardon the violent ones, which is 600 out of 1,600. So over 1/3 of us had violent charges.
And you were considered one of the violent ones.
I mean, he has a freaking DiMarini bat.
I had the most.
And he's not playing softball.
And so, no other man walking would have done that. President Trump has backbone. He has goal. I love President Trump, and he has my undying loyalty. Now, some of the people in his cabinet, the DOJ, FBI, and stuff, we can get into their inadequacies and their lack of action because they are not above the fray. I can criticize them. President Trump, I can never say a bad word about again in my life because that's honor. Somebody does something like that for you, they save your life, they save this country and stuff like that. You have to have honor above. You could be a political pundit, right, all day and try to make a viral video. Trump, I don't like this. But at the end of the day, being a man and showing honor and integrity in your personal relationships and stuff, you have to give value and weight to what this man has done for your own life and your country and just say, he's above bad-mouthing for me. I'm not just going to try to make a hot clip and go at President Trump for this. Oh, he picked my about this, that. President Trump, thank you. God bless you. That's it. You know what I mean? Signed, sealed, delivered, right?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
How do you find out that you're getting pardoned? When does that news come down?
That news came, first of all, news came 13 days before the news was the second most powerful man in the world, J.D. Vance, just said, you're not getting pardoned.
Yeah.
So we're like inside the cell, I'm like scratching. I'm like, oh, got to start digging out now,
Yeah.
And then the only news came when he held up the sign in the Oval Office, right? And then I knew I was getting pardoned. He said, all 1,500, we're getting them out tonight. We're getting them out tonight.
And how quickly after he announces that are you actually released from jail?
It was one complete 24-hour period. Everybody else got released immediately. The January 6ers left in the D.C. gulag. Trump had to mobilize the U.S. Marshals. I had to tweet at Elon Musk from my cell. I tweeted at him because everybody else got released. They only held because everyone else was in federal prisons all across the country, right? And so I had to tweet at Elon Musk, hey, I just got pardoned yesterday. I'm still not out. I'm in my prison cell. Call my fiance, she tweets it. He answers, Jake, we're working on it. So a few hours later after that, and I'm on the phone with General Flynn. We're actually on a video conference.
The best.
And he's working on it. So I got 3-star general, the richest man in the world, and the most powerful President Trump man in the world, all working simultaneously to secure my freedom. Wow. And I'm just like, this is an historic moment, a very, deep moment in American history for me to be living it in my prison cell, packing up my stuff, because the night before, I packed up all my stuff out of my cell. I said, I'll never go behind another locked door again in my life. And I said, guards, you're letting me out tonight. I don't care what happens. I have a paper right here from the President of the United States saying I'm pardoned, exonerated, and completely free. Let me out. So we don't have permission, And so 6 of them came and they picked me up like a suitcase and threw me back in the cell for the longest night of my life ever. Jeez. I already gave away my mattress too to one of my other guys. You get in prison, you have people that
I don't know. Just to be clear, I've never been.
When you're in prison and somebody's leaving, they give away all their stuff, right? So that somebody else can have it. Okay. So I went back to my room. No, I had a sheet. I had a sheet and I was sleeping on my concrete slab. It was a long night, but it was also the sweetest sleep of my life because I knew tomorrow I'm going home. So, these moments, sitting back and thinking about them, because right now I've been on a 10-month sprint to run away from all those memories, right? Running for Senate, doing all these amazing things, protests, filing lawsuits, running podcasts, being with amazing patriots like you guys, and to relive those moments sometimes, it crushes your heart a little bit because you're like, wow, it's like going back and watching a movie, and you're like, but that was my life, and I spent 4 years, 900 days solitary, which to explain that to the audience, because Vinnie asked, it is an 8x10 box. You are, in most institutions, you're without books because it's disciplinary solitary. I was doing interviews for my prison cell, Newsmax, OAN, Real America's Voice, you name it, Grant Cinchfield. I'd get on the phone, three-way call, my girl, she would call the studio, boom, be online. Then 20 minutes later, the guards would come rush my cell, throw me in solitary for a month or two for one interview, right? Be stuck there. No pictures of your family. Light stays on 24/7. No direct sunlight for years at a time.
It's like Guantanamo Bay.
It was insane.
Like as if you killed somebody.
Because and they used the domestic terrorist angle to hold you under extreme inhumane conditions because
I'm not a fan.
They have a right, they say, to make it so you can't talk to your family, to make it so you can only have like 1 hour of sunlight per week, this, that. And then they say, oh, the weather's bad, so you get it next week. And they always make up stuff. COVID, 1 year of lockdown for COVID. That was 23 hours a day in the cell. 23 hours, 15 minutes. So 45 minutes a day out. Jeez. Get a shower, call mom, play a quick game of, Texas Hold'em with the other two guys they let you out with. Have a little human contact, talk to somebody, back in yourself. Then, over the weekend, you don't get out. So really, if you do the math, you're out of yourself 4 hours a week. Because over the weekend, you don't get out, then 45 minutes, 5 days. So you're out of yourself for 4 hours a week. Inside your cell, you're doing thousands of push-ups. You're doing burpees, and you're reading the Bible. And if you're not doing that, then you're wallowing in your own pity, and the demons start to surround you. Those walls get real small. You got to stay physically fit to get those endorphins released every single day, mentally clear, thinking about your family, reliving old memories, listening to Christian worship music and the little handheld radio they listen to, and just push-ups and squats and push-ups and squats and read a chapter of the Bible. And that was my life for 4 years.
That's crazy.
And, at the end of the day, that's what makes a man out of somebody, an unbreakable man, because once they toss that at you, all my J6 prisoners know this. Once they say this is what you get in your life, and this is as low as it goes, they can't threaten you with anything else. They can't, try to blackmail you, anything. You've already thrown the worst life can offer at me, and now it's only up from here. I won't break. I won't, fold my character in for anybody or anything. I've already been through the worst. I survived it, and now it's time to build a legacy on top of that. And that's what, I'm here today to do for the J6ers, to talk about what we went through, what these patriots, these men, these brave men, most of them are U.S. Marines, school teachers, firefighters, physical therapists, like salt of the earth, great people. What these men endured for our country should never be forgotten. And quite honestly, we deserve recompense for it. We deserve the people who did this to us, the prosecutors, the judges, the FBI agents that broke down our doors. All these people deserve to go to jail. We must set a precedent of justice. You cannot weaponize and politicize the Department of Justice, the prison system, all of these different federal operations against good Americans and then release them back out into the wild. Most of these guys have broken lives. Wives left them. Businesses shut down, homes mortgaged and sold to the bank, living in their cars. Some of them are even homeless, and we've had to get them 2-month long places to stay. Airbnb. I'll buy an Airbnb for my friend. One of my J6ers will stay in it for a month or two, on to the next place, try to get a job. Can't get jobs. You Google, if I was an entrepreneur.
Yeah, that shows up.
Yeah, you Google that. It's like, hey, can I work at your True Value store? You know what I mean? They're like, well, you're good with the bat, but I mean.
Now,
This is what we've endured for our country, and we deserve our lawsuits to be heard, and for the restitution. People deserve, for 4 years of your life wrongfully incarcerated, standing up for your country as a patriot, to lose birthdays. I mean, I had this one J6er, Zach Reel, Proud Boy. His wife was pregnant when he left. He came home to a 4-year-old daughter that he never met.
Jeez.
Okay? This is what these men, U.S. Marine, Zach Reel, great man, lives in Philly, amazing, I love him. These guys sacrificed their lives for our country. Some people like Ashley Babbitt, Roseanne Boylan, the woman that died under my feet there, in my arms, Kevin Grease and Benjamin Phillips lost their life for this country defending it at the Capitol. And so investigations need to be had. Liz Cheney, Benny Thompson, all those guys, Jamie Raskin that did the J6 Select Committee, that's sham, that they obfuscated the truth, lied to the American people, drummed up false evidence, all that stuff. Criminal prison sentences need to be handed out. I need to see somebody in handcuffs sooner. We're going back to the Capitol.
Are they going after, like, do you think like Trump is going, and I don't think it's people want to call it retribution. If you broke the law, like a lot of them did, like, are they going after them fast enough? I mean, I know Cash Patel, because Rob, you're about to go to the Cash Patel story and stuff. They're going after, which I get it. NBA, cheating, LeBron, okay. I get that. But what about the people? Because what matters is the Constitution. What matters is the country. Weaponizing the DOJ, weaponize all these judges and all this crap. It drives me crazy because Comey, he's indicted. Bolton, he's getting indicted.
Raid them.
That's what I'm saying.
Raid them and embarrass them.
Bolton got raided. Well, before
On TV, like they call, FBI called, some of our raids, Mar-a-Lago raid, front cover, CNN, front cover, everything.
Roger Stone in his house at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Before we move on, I have more questions. I see the picture of you with the baseball bat and the thing. Like, I don't want to get into it, but I've been in more riots than I'd like to be. All right. Do you have any, have you been in a riot before this?
No, I never.
The thing is, I've been in riot situations, and it takes a lot of training, knowing how to handle yourself. So this is your first riot out of the blue.
It was not a riot. Let's categorize this correctly. This was we were reacting to police brutality. This was not a riot. People that say it's a riot are getting fired at the DOJ. 2 DOJ prosecutors just wrote in a memorandum last week that this was a riot. President Trump caused a riot, and they just got fired. So words matter. This was not a riot. This was a protest that spun out of hand because of the police.
Yeah. And, there was an escalation.
Yes.
Civil unrest for a little bit.
Yeah.
Things were jumping back and forth.
BLM was a riot, okay? This was 2 hours at the Capitol.
That was a burning.
So you just
people, but that scene that you see, let me just say this 2 seconds. That scene you see was super rare at the Capitol. 95% of the criminal indictments that came from January 6th, people that walked through an open door, fist bumped a cop, took a selfie with a police officer, stayed between the red velvet ropes.
The videos, yeah.
Right? They were complete, everything was cool there. It was only in that West Terrace tunnel where things really got hectic because they murdered a woman. The patriots stood up and tried to defend lives. So, in my personal scenario, I had a little different experience than 95% of J6ers. Most of them didn't even realize they're breaking the law. They didn't see any police officer tell them, you can't enter here, or not a posted sign or anything. So my scenario is much different than most other people's. Most of these people are glorified tourists, right? Trespassers, like Rob said, that just ended up at the wrong place in the wrong time, right? And if they would have done that any other day of the week if they were Stephen Colbert's staffers, breaking into the Capitol, right? That. Remember that?
Yep.
Or it's SNL staffers, somebody's staffers, one of the talking heads. If they were those staffers breaking into the Capitol, walking around without authorization, they would have got the slap on the wrist they got. But because they're MAGA, because they're Republicans, because they're Christian, because they're white, all these identifiers, right, that the left hates, that's why they got the book thrown at them.
All right.
Go ahead, Rob.
Well, no, Humberto had a question. That's
No.
that.
So you just went there. Things got out of hand.
Yeah, I'd never been a part. I've been to two Trump rallies prior to that, and that's it. That's all I've ever been. And politically, I was just online posting libertarian memes. Going out in a nightclub, post a libertarian meme. That was my life, and then sell some ads on Facebook.
What I'm saying here, I love your story. I think what they did to you is extremely unfair. I commend your spirit for going there and standing up like an American, but I did photography in a bunch of riots, and they move very different. I'm not saying Jan 6 was a riot, but I don't know how to describe it. How would you call it when people get rowdy?
Well, we were protesting.
Yeah, I've been to many protests to take pictures and videos and things, and it took me years to learn how to move through crowds, know when things were going to get dangerous, when it's a different deal. So you just were in the middle of this, not prepared at all. And
as a herd, from being in a lot of these big crowds, herd mentality takes over, right? Once you see another brave man, stand up and do something, and they're like, fighting back and standing up and stuff. As another man, I was a college wrestler in New York City and stuff, and I'm like, You know, this is what our country needs right now. This is the will of the people. We're standing up finally. Somebody's doing something. You know, my grandpa had a great saying. He said, do something even if it's right. You know what I mean? And so it's like, it's a joke saying, like, just do something even if it's right.
Who do you go with?
And you got to do something.
Who did you go with? Was it a group?
I actually went down there with my mother's Jewish on my mother's side, and I'm a Christian, born again Christian by faith. My dad's German, Irish Catholic. And I went down there with Jewish busloads of Jews from Brooklyn, New York, the Chabad down there, which I was loosely affiliated with. I went to like 2-3 Shabbats with them, you know, and they said, we're all going down there, a bunch of Jews for Trump. So I'm like, okay. And I went down there with them. None of them made it to the front lines. They're like, oh, you know, got to go home.
Action, like,
I got to go home. Matzo ball soup's ready, you know?
Yeah, that's so funny.
One final question before we move on. When you get released, what day is that this year? It was this year,
January 21st, 2025, 8:35 p.m. 1,467 days and 9 hours since I was arrested. To my beautiful fiance's arms, Rachel. My father, Ned Lang, was there. Thousands of supporters, hundreds of media. I had my prison beard, you know what I mean? I had my Bible in my hand, and I just railed off. All the cameras surrounded me, and I just railed off for literally hours about the deliverance of God and the power of faith and how this is a turning point in America. And it was just beautiful. I can't describe it other than the Holy Spirit just like took me over and just led me through. A couple hours later, I was finally sitting alone in my hotel room, and like everything's quiet, and I'm like, I'm really home. I'm really free.
What's
This
the first
nightmare's
meal?
really over.
The first meal when you get out that's non-prison food in 4 years and 6 days. What is the first meal that you have?
Matzo ball soup.
Matzo ball soup. That's it.
Surf and turf, yeah.
Are you for real?
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta go surf and
gotta
turf.
go
You
surf.
gotta
land
go
and
surf
sea,
and
yeah.
turf.
You got to go land and
How
sea.
bad is the food in prison? Jail. Sorry, not prison. Jail. How
No,
bad?
I was in federal maximum security penitentiary prisons.
How bad is the food there? I know that seems. And one other question, and you were in solitary confinement, so maybe you didn't see this, but whenever I watch TV and I see people in prison, there's rape. How prevalent are things like that when you like? Is
think
the
that was-
actual thing that you see on TV when it comes to prison life shitty food and
Rape.
getting shanked? Is that
Rape
actually
is
what it's like?
well, in Washington D.C. because they've separated the January Sixers out from the other, like the black inmates there that are all they call them booty bangers. That's what they call them in D.C. Booty
banger.
booty bang, gang bangers, booty bangers.
We
The
got a guy
DC
named Deli here. He's a booty
Yeah,
banger.
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
The D.C. blacks, they're notorious for going swinging both ways and raping people. We Jan Sixers didn't have to be around that. They put us in our own unit where they could torture us and keep us in our cells like animals.
Probably better than
Yeah,
the
it was
torture you
different,
get
but
from the booty bangers.
But in other federal prisons and places I was at, I didn't hear of any rapes. But there were tons of stabbings, and it was a very violent, dangerous scenario.
did you ever feel like you had to have a weapon to protect
I
yourself?
did have a weapon, and I did do what I needed to do many times.
What'd you make? Did you make a shank?
Yes, I bought a shank from other people there. Yep, yeah, because I bought a cell phone in Brooklyn Federal Prison as well. The cell phones were prevalent there, and if you have a cell phone, you need a shank because that's a very valuable.
How do you hide
thing.
the cell phone? Where do you put the phone in the?
Don't ask those type of questions.
Sound like,
You're like,
that's-
"Bring." Ooh, look at somebody just called my ass.
But-
Don't put it on
Do they-
vibrate, all right? Never
Yeah.
put it on vibrate.
Do they raid your cell? Do they look
Yeah,
for
I
that
got
stuff
caught
constantly?
with like dozens of cell phones. I was in and out of the hole all the time there, which was on the. They put me in with MS-13 in my cell alone with a 6'5" tattooed up MS-13 gang member. That was my cellie in solitary. ISIS members because I was a domestic terrorist labeled, so I could only be housed with other people with a terrorist
Label.
Wow.
Literally. So it was crazy. And Brooklyn Federal Prison, where they had Diddy, R. Kelly,
Epstein.
that was I actually got brought to that prison before it got shut down. So there's
MDX, is it?
MCC, Manhattan. That's when I got arrested, January 16th. That's where I spent the night. In the cell, Jeffrey Epstein hung himself later in. That was the same place.
You believe that narrative? Being in the same jail that was.
Well, I was in the same jail, but no, he didn't hang himself. No, Hillary
Okay.
Clinton came in there.
We'll get to that. In fact, it's in today's show. So thank you for sharing your story. I know that you're running for Senate here in the state of Florida. If people wanted to make campaign contributions or follow you, where can people find your information?
Yeah, guys, go to X. X is where we have free speech. Just type in Jake Lang, Lang. You'll find me right away. The campaign website to donate, takebackthecapital.com. Take back the Capitol. That's what we're all about. That same spirit of January 6th. You need representatives in there that will not back down, and Trump loyalists, people that will codify the Trump whole entire agenda. That is the problem right now. 4 years from now, will we have any of these same executive orders in place? If the Democrats take over, no. Day one, they'll all be smashed. We need to codify President Trump's agenda. So that's what you get. Vote for Jake Lang in Florida. You'll get a Trump loyalist, a diehard patriot that will be fighting to make sure Trump's agenda lasts for generations.
Well, very cool. Thank you for sharing your story. Let's speak about another American patriot. Sorry, Dick Cheney. I couldn't even get that out without me.
Right.
And who would have thought Dick Cheney, 1941 to 2025? And we all thought that Pearl Harbor was the worst thing to happen to America that year. Turns out it was the birth of Dick Cheney. The former vice president of the United States passed away today. And quite frankly, I got to be honest, good riddance. He was behind a leading push for the wars in both Iraq and Afghanistan, and also came up with the fake weapons of mass destruction. I know that you served in the United States military pre 9/11, but you had friends that went overseas and lost their lives based on a lie that this guy helped perpetuate. I don't wish ill will on anyone, and God rest his soul. Hopefully he was able to make his peace with Christ before he passed, but he is now dead. What will Dick Cheney be remembered for most? I would like to go around the room and ask everybody here. Humberto, who is especially sensitive for some reason, considering he's literally a warmonger. Go ahead. What would you like to remember Dick Cheney as?
I mean, the most
What will his legacy be?
bloodshed and
Yeah,
spending. Like this, I literally tried to look some redeeming qualities to like take the other side, but there's nothing.
Not
good
even
about it.
not even a lineage that he can be proud of.
this-
because
Hey, you
Liz
took
Cheney-
mine. You took mine. I was going to say spawning mini Satan. Liz Cheney.
Rob, I've been
That's what I
checking
was gonna say. Sorry.
ChatGPT, Monad, X, and everywhere, and
nobody has anything.
none of the AI systems could manage to have one redeeming quality. He did some very good air breathing and walking. He walked very well.
He did a great job for Halliburton because he was the CEO of Halliburton.
1.9 billion.
1995 to 2000, CEO before he took over as vice president. Arguably one of the most powerful vice presidents in United States history. I can't think of another vice president that threw more weight around in the White House than Dick Cheney. Can any of you guys think of somebody more powerful as a second to the one?
Joe Biden. No, I'm kidding.
That's true, actually. You're right. In an
You
awful, evil
see the
way
way
as well.
that he did the ice creams?
Probably
That when
like-
Barack Obama and him, when they had the ice creams,
Yeah.
that was powerful.
Like-
Yeah.
Riveting.
Probably comparatively as murderous. I think Kissinger gives him a run for his money. He bombed the crap out of Cambodia. Like every single square inch of Cambodia was bombed by Kissinger.
And just so, listen, Dick Cheney's career and history, I had it pulled up. Secretary of Defense. He worked in the Ford administration. Where did I have this? Here it is. So listen, a storied career in Washington and a civil servant. He worked for you, the taxpayer. White House Chief of Staff from 75 to 77 under Gerald Ford. Was a congressman from the state of Wyoming from 79 to 89. Secretary of Defense from 89 to 93 under George H.W. Bush, oversaw Operation Desert Storm, and then went on to be CEO of Halliburton 95 to 2000, and then returned back to civil servantry, became Vice President of the United States during the contested 2000 election between Bush and Gore. He left the Oval Office in 2008, didn't run for president, and retired from the public life. The last time I saw Dick Cheney was when he came out and told everybody to vote for Kamala Harris as opposed to Donald Trump, because Donald Trump was a threat
with
to
Liz
democracy.
Cheney's hand up is like a puppeteer,
Yeah.
Oh.
like
Up
that.
his ass.
I vote for.
Oh,
Like,
God.
come on. What?
I was actually very wrong. He's way worse than Kissinger.
Oh.
Like I asked like how many American lives and how much tax money. Money wise, he cost 3 times more on the money they spent on his wars, and American lives 4 times more lives were lost because of this guy. Like, doesn't it make you mad?
Of course, these people, they get power in D.C. and they absolutely squeeze everything they can out of the American people. It's almost like a humiliation ritual. Really, it is. When you have people like that are our leaders, it disenfranchises young men all across the country. Men like, this is who President Trump, Trumpian-esque figure, strong, masculine businessman, stuff like that. Those are the type of people that make a great representative for the country. When you have men like this as a representative, you get sniveling, evil, backstabbing, weak men. And that's what we have in New York City now and all kinds. The politicians are, representative of our previous politicians. Got to break the cycle somewhere.
Eisenhower warned everyone about the military-industrial complex, and I can't think of a face that better represents the military-industrial complex than Dick Cheney himself. Working for Halliburton between 1995 and 2000 as CEO, he went on, and if you don't know what Halliburton is, they were a defense company. They ended up signing contracts with the United States government after 9/11, during the War on Terror, upwards of $39.5 billion just in Iraq alone. Dick Cheney, during that time, kept his stock because he was CEO prior to being the vice president, kept his stock in Halliburton. That stock went up in value in 1 year following the 9/11 attacks. It rose by 3,281%. So if anything, he's a great stock trader. We can talk all the shit we want, but man, he could definitely deal some stocks.
Do they have, on Cash App and like some of these apps that you have, you can like follow certain
I'm doing that now with Pelosi, and I'm losing money. I don't understand how that happens.
Follow Dick Cheney stock trades from the grave. He's still doing the best picks.
There is one on autopilot.
It's
called
Forex signals
World War III. It's like literally just follows defense contract companies, but his stock went from $241,498 to more than $8 million in that 1 year. So when you look and you wonder, why do we get into these endless wars in different countries? Well, obviously people have motives. It's unfortunate anyone dies. I don't want to see bad to happen to anybody. We can't sit here and criticize the people who celebrated Charlie Kirk's death and then also celebrate Dick Cheney's. So what I say to that is, I hope that he made peace with his maker before he left this planet, and hopefully he is in heaven. But
I love that you said that, Rob, because I agree with you 100%. I know you do too. One of the hardest things about Christianity to me is actually having to pray for your enemies, because that guy right there, and I want Connor, show that face. That guy is the enemy of the people. He was the enemy of the people. He was complete, like, just from what you said, how is it legal that the CEO of a defense contracting company gets the contract for a war that you started illegally? Really think about where we were. And I love how people always try to play the Republican, Democrat. It has nothing to do with that. And the hardest thing, like I was saying, Jake, I have to pray for this guy's soul, because I have a feeling, I'm sorry, he wasn't sorry, he wasn't there. I could pray that he did, but these are the type of people, when you talk about the deep state, the warmongering neocons that don't give a shit, because they're not pulling the trigger, bro. They're not actively going there signing a contract to go to war, because a lot of rumors were strolling around Washington. He was in charge. That was the guy. He was the one pulling the strings. Rumsfeld was the bulldog that was doing everything. And Bush, remember Bush Jr.? Hey, we got to get these terrorists. Now watch me swing this golf club. He was... Now
watch this drive.
Now watch this drive. So he's the guy. And mind you, this is the guy that even in an interview post 9/11, post killing a million people in Iraq, you know what he said? Yeah, well, the world's a better place without Saddam Hussein. Bullshit, because I know people, I have family members that are married to people from Baghdad, from Iraq, that were like, the moment they took them out, it created this vacuum. ISIS was formed. All this stuff was formed. And I know from a personal fact, my cousin's wife her family was in Iraq at a wedding, and Uday, or Qusay, one of Saddam Hussein's sons, think about how crazy this was, came into the wedding, bro, and was like, whose wedding is this? Oh, I want her. Grab the wife. And the husband tried to say something, shot and killed the husband. Actively, he just became the husband. At the freaking wedding, took her, did her business, and returned it. I get that they were evil. I get that they were disgusting people. But you know what? You took out the head of the snake and let all this shit happen. All the Muslim groups all started and all that shit. So it sucks that we have to pray for him. But this guy, because think about it, Rob, 9/11, Jake, 9/11 started, and I saw a video of him sitting, actually a photo, sitting with his feet up like he's watching Sunday cartoons, and both towers are on fire. That guy. And I don't care what anybody says. My opinion is him, Bush, all these people knew. And they knew it was going to happen, but they just did this. They did, okay, go. Remember when Bush is in the classroom and they came in and they whispered in his ear and he just sat there? You're the president of the United States. You just got information that we are under a terrorist attack. You sit there and listen to the kids finish the story, which, how random was you want to talk about rituals and shit, Jake? Do you know what they were saying, the kids, the words were?
Airplane.
Plane.
Fire.
Hit, steal.
Yeah.
Crash. Like, what? It's beyond evil. So... I'm not going to lose sleep, or I'm not going to cry for this moment, because Rumsfeld's gone. He's gone. Got to pray for him. I mean, Bush is the only one left in that and that trio of freaking evil
But
and
look
death.
look at what the New York people. We're both New Yorkers
Yes.
by our hometowns. Look what the New York people are doing to honor the legacy of the
Holy moly.
3,000 Americans that lost their lives.
Wow.
We promise never forget radical Islamic terrorists.
They forgot.
Right? And we have this jihadist waltzing in to the New York City mayorship role.
Smiling.
And that's why yesterday, my legal group, Federal Watchdog, he's going to pull it up.
You're going to pull this up?
Announced a $100 million lawsuit on Zohran Mamdani. I call him Maslami.
Yeah.
He had told, and actually it's on his campaign website right now, that he's going to tax white Americans
Yep, I
in
read.
New York at a higher rate.
Literally said that.
And then he doubled down, and you're watching the video here. He doubled down. And so that is against the Civil Rights Act. That is federal discrimination. We have a 14th Amendment, equal rights, equal opportunity for all Americans by race, gender, age, all that stuff. You cannot discriminate. And so my tax bracket has to be higher because I was born white. White people built New York City. And this is unbelievable. The fact that white New Yorkers are going out in droves voting for this clown, this Marxist socialist bastard, is unbelievable.
Can you
And they're
imagine?
spitting in the face of the victims
Can you imagine
of
if he
9/11.
said it towards any other race? If he said, "Listen, we're going to tax black people more," it would have been
Racist.
And yeah, you're racist.
Bigot.
And mind you, Jake, the guy took a photo with the co-conspirator, unindicted. That means he was in the room technically, taking a photo in the mosque with the guy, like that blew up the first World Trade.
93.
The first bombing.
The Imam.
What do you do? New Yorkers, are they freaking? Have they lost their freaking gourd? Like, can we play? I want to play this video. This is the lawsuit.
And to your point, before we play the video, how unlikable is Andrew Cuomo? That like
Jeez.
he's losing to this guy. How unlikable do you have
I
to
have
be
a
for
theory on
people
that.
to not want to vote for you and would rather go? You know what? This is the better
Oh my
option.
God. And that just goes to show you because and he just came out, Andrew Cuomo, a couple of hours ago. Remember,
Sorry about Nana.
COVID was 5 years ago. Did you see it, Jake? Today he comes out and he goes, "Yeah, listen, I'm sorry. It was a horrible way to die." He went to detail. He's like, grandparents and all these people alone, suffering in their last moments. 5 years later, you're waiting for the day for people to vote, like they're going to see that and go, "Let me vote for you." By the way, the worst campaign manager, Democrats just have the worst messaging. They have the worst managers. They have the worst message. Bro, if I was in charge,
Get a 12-year-old off TikTok.
yeah, trust me, if I was in charge of the DNC right now, they'd win they'd be the most popular. I'd say, Pelosi, shut your ass up. Obama, go retire. Go with your boy, whoever you're doing with. Go be those.
Go enjoy
people.
those 30,000 hot dogs that you like. to have in
That you
pool.
like delivering at 3:00 in the morning to the White House. I would shake everybody. I'd shake it up and say, whoever's old, shut your ass up. We're not going backwards. We're going to go forward. But this is what you got, bro. Can you blame New Yorkers?
Forward off a cliff. They're all socialists, the
They're
young
all
ones.
socialists. They're all socialists.
Let's play the video.
Yeah,
This
play
is
this video.
what is this? This is the
Federal Watchdog $100 million federal discrimination lawsuit on Zohran Mamdani.
Muslimi.
Today, Federal Watchdog has just filed a $100 million lawsuit on the racist Zohran Mamdani, a federal discrimination lawsuit detailing his hatred against white people, including the fact that he said he wants to tax New Yorkers.
Quote it for folks is to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. Explain why you are bringing race into your tax proposal.
That is just a description of what we see right now.
White New Yorkers at a higher rate than any other race. This is despicable discrimination at its highest, and it's illegal against the Civil Rights Act. So, Mr. Mamdani, you radical Muslim extremist, we will be seeing you in the courtroom.
Yeah, but you have to remember, his aunt that was in Uganda was scared to wear a hijab while she was riding the
It wasn't-
subway after 9/11.
And it wasn't his aunt. It's his dad's cousin, which is technically his aunt, Rob.
And he also likes to go to gay clubs to campaign, despite it being like they'll throw you off the roof of the closest building.
In
And they
Uganda.
won't even look for the highest one. They'll just keep dragging your body up to whatever is the nearest roof and
Yeah.
throw you off of it for being gay. He goes and campaigns.
Well, they're allowed
good luck.
to.
Did you?
Sharia law is Laws allowed to. They're allowed to lie and commit deception in order to get in. Takia. And that's what they're doing to the gays. That's what they're doing to the trans. These gays for Palestine, gays for all these people. They're just engendering them and part of the movement until they can kill them all.
Yep.
Until they have the power to kill them all.
Are you currently a New York City resident, or do you now live in the state of Florida?
I'm right here in West Palm Beach.
Oh, because you're running in Florida in Senate. Okay,
right,
well,
okay.
good luck to New York City. Go ahead.
And we're moving on to Mamdani, like full force.
Well, no, if you want to finish, and then we'll jump into Kash Patel.
All right. Look, Dick Cheney dies. He's one of the last guys from the old guard. All right. He had the Dick Cheneys, the W. Bush guys, and all those guys,
Bush
terrible,
Jr. is the only one.
Condoleezza Rice, all those guys that did terrible damage. All right. We have a new, blood. We have new movement, like the MAGA movement. They're doing tremendous, It was unfortunate, and I don't think New York is too great to fail. All right. I think it's one of the best. It's probably the best city in the world. I wouldn't live there, but I love to visit. It's tremendous. But I think it was bad timing. And I don't think Mamdani getting elected is the end of the world. Because the thing is, if you had a Cuomo, and the president was very clear, like a vote for anyone else that is not Cuomo, and he's clear with that. And I think it's very reasonable he said that. But to the point, if we had Cuomo for 5 years there, I don't think the city's going to change. If you see the city, I remember, because I will go there very, I went there in 96 and in 2002 and 2005, so you can see the change in the city. And the last 10 years, if we're really honest, they've been probably some of the worst years. It's the first time I go to an American city and I see the city getting worse in the last 10 years, all right? So maybe this...
L.A. was bad. Pretty
bad. Oh, my God.
So are you officially endorsing Mamdani? Is that what you're saying right now?
Maslami for president.
I'm not endorsing. I'm not endorsing Mamdani. But the blame here is for the Republican Party for not getting organized and having a decent candidate that grabbed the momentum they had. If you see New York State, it's mostly red, Vinnie. All right, just a city that is a liberal stronghold. They have so many good young guys from New York that they could put in there, and they put this guy with the hat.
Yeah.
So,
Sliwa, see, one thing, when I was in Brooklyn Federal Prison, I used to listen to Sliwa on the radio every single night when we were on lockdown and stuff like that.
Guy.
He is as New York as he gets, quintessential New Yorker, but he's already, sparked out as many times. He's ran.
Is he MAGA?
No, he's not. Oh, no, and that's a problem.
See, that's a problem.
And 100%. I love that you brought that up. Right now, New York's not ready for MAGA. But are they is the question. Not New York City's not ready for MAGA. New York State is so ready for MAGA. We saw, and this is the thing, Donald Trump went out to campaign in the Bronx. Remember this? I was in Brooklyn Federal Prison on the rooftop in the hole. The guard told me Trump's in the Bronx today. There's 100,000 people there. I was like, I could feel the energy. All black, brown, Spanish, Republican, conservative, family type Christian people out there to support President Trump. And that was like an earthquake for New York City. So if you had somebody ultra MAGA coming and being unashamed, because Curtis tries to virtue signal how much he hates Trump all the time, while also being a Republican. That side of the Republican Party's dead. There's nothing left there. But it's only Trump loyalists have the only future in the Republican Party.
That's what it is.
And because he kind of split the baby, he lost crazy.
I'm familiar with the Middle East. I grew up in the Middle East. I know what these people do. I know how they run their towns. It's not good. It's not good at all. But I'm being optimistic here that Cuomo wasn't a launch pad to have a MAGA guy take over New York. I think Mamdani is going to bring it to a new low, and this is a time for someone to come in. And
bring back Rudy.
Yeah,
tremendous
Giuliani.
guy.
All right, we have 10 minutes left, and I definitely want to get to this story because it's 3 stories that are very important. A lot of Epstein evidence has come out over the past couple of days. It's very interesting. His email ties to not just Israel, but also Russia. So let's jump into this. This came out... what's the first? Can you show me the first title slide? There it is. Daily Caller. Hacked emails allege Jeffrey Epstein helped broker diplomacy between Israel and Russia. Now, guys, we've all heard about Jeffrey Epstein's work in the financial world.
Yep.
We have all heard reports that he was working for the Mossad. We've heard reports that he's working for the CIA. Has anyone here ever heard of Jeffrey Epstein, broker of Russian diplomacy? Has anybody ever heard that before?
First time.
No, but these are legitimately hacked emails that he was doing this?
So leaked emails between Jeffrey Epstein and former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak reveal an effort to create a covert back channel between Israel and Russia during the height of the Syrian civil war. This is 2013 through 16. So after the 2009, remember the 2006 case, then he gets the sweetheart deal in 2008. Yes. He gets released and he's free. Well, Ehud Barak still maintaining a relationship
Of course,
with
that's his
Jeffrey
boy.
Epstein.
He was hooking him up.
According to these emails, the correspondent shows Epstein arranging meetings, drafting strategy memos, and sharing intelligence from Russian insiders with Barak. The pair allegedly coordinated messaging to secure a private Barak-Putin meeting aimed at persuading Moscow to back Assad's removal. Epstein's role went beyond just logistics. He was serving as a political fixer and informal intelligent conduit. Emails show the two men discussing how to pressure the Obama administration. So this is Ehud Barak, the Israeli prime minister, working with Jeffrey Epstein to try and figure out how to pressure the Obama administration towards military action against Iran and more aggressive involvement in Syria. So listen, we've known about Jeffrey Epstein. Now he has been in the public lexicon for 19 years, right? Because the first indictments came down in 2006, so almost 20 years. This is the first time I've ever heard of Jeffrey Epstein being involved in any type of diplomacy between countries. I've always heard spying for one country, spying on behalf of another. This is the first time I've ever heard, and now it's bringing Putin into it. It's very odd.
It's very odd, but it's not surprising that this guy's relationship with Ehud Barak was so prominent. He visited his Manhattan apartment God knows how many times. There's photos of him coming out. I've seen even Jeffrey Epstein was coming out. He left first, and then another girl, a young girl that was there, and Epstein was walking with her from the apartment somewhere in Manhattan. I forgot where they were walking. But then think about Virginia Giuffre's memoir. She's freaking speaking from the grave. She's saying, this dude, she said allegedly, was raped and beaten by a very well-known prime minister. Who else would that be? Like, she couldn't say it because the publishing company wouldn't say billionaire one, billionaire two, high-profile prime minister, very popular prime minister. Rob, it doesn't. I wouldn't put it past, bro. Epstein was so deeply connected with him, with Israel. I know we're hearing Mossad, we're hearing CIA.
Yeah, I was about to say that's like all. It's pretty much like that's what else you need to confirm it?
You don't. That's
Mossad blackmail agent, right? I mean,
at this point, I wonder if he's working for the CIA, spoofing as he's working for the Mossad. Like, it gets so
Jeffrey Epstein,
tangled.
double agent.
Literally,
double O pedophile.
None of it. T-shirts. And Woody Allen could represent him. We'll get into that in a minute.
T-shirt that should have won.
Allegedly. Well, speaking of the book, so Nobody's Girl, Virginia Giuffre's book came out, and it has actually had some repercussions for the royal family. Let's go to the next story real quick, if we could.
He's not having a good month, by the way.
King Charles III formally stripped Prince Andrew of his titles. Now he is Andrew Mountbatten Windsor.
Andrew!
And he was evicted from the Royal Lodge. This all because of the renewed scrutiny over his relationship with Epstein. Buckingham Palace said the sanctions were necessary despite Andrew's continued denials of having and participating in underage sex orgies with Virginia Giuffre. In fact, in the book, Virginia Giuffre talks about participating in an underage orgy with Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein. The decision coincides with fresh calls from U.S. lawmakers for Andrew to testify before Congress about what he knew regarding Epstein's crimes. Here's Prince Andrew with Ghislaine Maxwell, who is currently incarcerated here in the United States. Members of the House Oversight Committee, by the way, if you guys remember, last month, October, Hillary and Bill Clinton were both deposed by the House Oversight Committee to testify in court regarding Jeffrey Epstein, and neither one of them appeared. We are now in the month of November. Now, part of that is due to the government shutdown. Also, because of their lawyers continuing to seek dismissals, and also there was another term that they were using, not continuance, but they were looking to push it off to a later date, rescheduling. Now you got to.
I know a couple things about that.
What the Clintons?
No, just getting rescheduled and waiting.
Well, unfortunately, but you were locked in prison, and the people that we're running to actually have justice
on Jeffrey Epstein's island
are not. Yeah, they're not anywhere near a court date. The final thing I want to bring up, first of all, do you guys think Prince Andrew will ever appear in the United States of America and testify before the House Oversight Committee regarding his relationship?
No, and I want to find out what Jake has to say. It makes me livid that the guy, with all the testimony, everything with Virginia, you are sleeping with underage girls, and the only thing you're gonna get, because he's still rich as shit, you get your title stripped. That's like, if I was a doctor, bro, And I was doing this underage pedophile rape, whatever the hell they were doing. And they go, hey, listen, you're not going to go to jail. Nothing's going to happen. You can't live in your house. And you know what? You're not going to be doctor anymore. You're just Vinnie. That's it? That's all? I'm like, yay! I'm going to keep doing it. Because, listen, the two-tier justice, if it was Jake or you or me, you hook up with an underage girl, you go to prison, you pay the fine. I am disgusted because this piece of shit, sorry for my language, is royalty, and he gets to walk around. He's still going to have protection. He's still going to be a multi-gazillionaire. And it's like, where's the justice, bro? Where's the justice? Because if anybody out there thinks that these pedophile places are finished or these, pizza parties are still happening, are not happening, they still happen, bro. Pedophilia, you don't just cure pedophilia. Those people, those elite levels, they know they can get away with it, and they keep doing it. So what's the incentive to stop? There isn't none. Look at this freaking guy with his top hat with Ghislaine. That's it. You're just gonna strip her up. I'm not a fan of it, and it just, it drives me crazy, bro. Him, Epstein, this whole freaking crew, this pedophile, blackmailing crap. It drives me nuts. I know it's not stopping. It's not stopping anytime soon.
Jake.
Listen, the standard needs to be set for the American justice system, right? We, as Christians, we always want to forgive, everyone forgive, but it's not just about that. It's about setting the standard for the next generation, for the next politicians. These people like Prince Andrew, ex-Prince Andrew. What do you call him?
Call him Drew. He's Drew.
We need to see these people carted off in handcuffs and treated like I was treated, right? So that the next people in line say, oh, there are repercussions for my evil actions. That's why we have the justice system we have, is to deter future tyrants, deter future freaks and pedophiles and absolute repugnant human beings from doing this. That's why the long arm of the law needs to be hard and swift and fast, because delayed justice is denied justice, right? And these people have been getting away from it for decades. He's already an old man. He enjoyed the fruits of his evil fruits for all of his young adult life. And now his old, decrepit, they strip him of his title. That's it. These people need to go to jail now, and swift and hard prosecutions need to be.
I agree.
I mean,
He needs to get
them over here.
That's the
I
thing.
know people in federal prison. People that were wrapped up in, international cases and stuff. FBI or CIAs, people didn't play around. These people, they were in wherever, maybe in Thailand or something like that. They woke up one day with a hood over them, and all of a sudden they were in the Southern District of New York courtroom.
Tony.
Yeah. Being prosecuted. They thought that they were out of the jurisdiction. No. They have ways to get people here. Let's just put it that way. Get the bad people here and put them in prison. Show the world who America is still.
Humberto, who just endorsed Zohran Mamdani for mayor of New York City.
I did not.
Do you think Prince Andrew will ever appear in the United States of America and testify?
I did not endorse Mamdani. I said it's a bad situation and there's a lot of people to blame, and I feel for New York City.
He's not going to be that bad.
No.
Humberto,
No. I'm thinking long run. I think New York City will survive barely, but we're going to get a much greater person in there later.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
I was kidding. Prince Andrew.
All right. No, but I don't want to be associated with Zohran Mamdani in any way possible.
Okay,
all
got
right?
it. What about Prince Andrew? You want to
being
associate
associated
with him?
He's being associated with John Fetterman today.
Humberto Fetterman.
Hey, he's coming around. He's coming around.
I took a stroke. I know it sucks. It took a stroke for
Fetterman.
It took a stroke for Fetterman to go, wait a minute. These people are fucking crazy.
Let him cook. He's been super fair lately.
I just love him. He's crazy.
All right.
Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew, Mountbatten Windsor. He took his mother's last name and
Cock. Go ahead.
it's a German last name. They got married with all the royal
Yes.
family. But the thing is, the only way the UK has the worst legal system right now. It's the most unfair thing someone can see. It's totally lopsided for all this.
She didn't get raped long enough. That was in Sweden,
Oh,
but
yeah,
still.
I can't
You know what
believe
I mean?
that.
Like
Can't
that.
support the migrant
Rob,
that did that because it wasn't. Yep.
Those guys are busy
EU legal system.
jailing people for memes, all right, and evading all this gangs. That the only thing they do is grooming and raping. Is terrible. So the only way for us to see justice, because that was an American citizen that he abused, all right.
Of course.
He should be extradited immediately, all right? Black bag and bring him over here if you want to see a little bit of justice, because there is not going to happen. I'm sorry.
Speaking of, not just Prince Andrew, so the recently unsealed House oversight documents and flight logs that have just come out reveal that Epstein maintained deep relationships with not just political figures, but also Hollywood elites as well, up until his 2019 arrest. Can you do me a favor, Connor? Can you pull up a photo of, would Woody Allen and Soon Yi.
Sheesh.
I'd like to see if we can find a photo of this. So it turns out, I don't know how familiar you guys are with Woody Allen, but I'm going to go down that rabbit hole in just a second. The late financier, Jeffrey Epstein's calendar lists nearly 100 different meetings with Woody Allen and his wife, Soon Yi Previn, often for private film screenings or dinners. Check this out. Epstein also traveled with that couple, who are both alive and well, multiple times, including flights to Palm Beach and New Mexico. Remember how we've always talked about the Zorro Ranch that he has in New Mexico where they were doing allegedly weird medical experiments? Woody Allen has been there. Now, Woody Allen, if you don't know, award-winning director, but maybe you don't know about his relationship with Soon Yi. Soon Yi was the adopted daughter. She came from South Korea. She was born around 1970. She was adopted by Mia Farrow. Now, at the time, Woody Allen was dating Mia Farrow. Woody Allen met Soon Yi when Soon Yi was 7 or 8 years old. They began a romantic relationship in 1991, allegedly, around that time. Woody was 56 years old, but the woman who he met, who was his adopted, he was the adopted daughter of his girlfriend, who was 7 years old at the time, was 20 to 21. They start having a relationship. Mia Farrow finds out about the relationship because she finds nude Polaroids, that's how long ago this was, of Soon Yi in Woody Allen's belongings, breaks up with Woody Allen and threatens to go to the press. That is Woody Allen. Why is nobody demanding Woody Allen appear before the House Oversight Committee and talk about going to the Zorro Ranch? Or why he started dating a girl that he met when she was 7 years old.
Oh my.
And for all intents and purposes was almost like a stepdaughter to him. How is this even okay? And this guy still was embraced by Hollywood, not defending Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein's locked in prison for the rest of his life. Bill Cosby got out on some technicality. How come Woody Allen has never been investigated, B, questioned? Why are we not seeing him testify on Capitol Hill?
Great point. He's in the club, Rob. He's in the club, and for all the people out there, I'm not going to make Connor do it now. Look at the leaked audio of
Ronan Farrow.
Ronan Farrow crying about what Woody Allen did to, I think, to her, right? Was it to another
I remember
kid?
it was Ronan Farrow was doing Ronan. It's odd. Ronan Farrow, the adopted, I don't know if it's the adopted son or the son of Woody Allen and Mia Farrow, ended up being the one that brought down Harvey Weinstein and started the entire Me Too movement. I remember the tape. I think
it's Mia Farrow crying on the phone about what he did allegedly to a kid when they were young. Go look it up. Just go to X. You'll find it.
I'm good.
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm just saying look for it. You want to do, Rob, you want to do real
Clear
quick?
browser history. Going incognito mode.
Incognito mode.
Cash to tell thing?
I have
one.
to go. Go ahead. Yes.
And this is a hot take coming from somebody who is Jewish, right? He's by bloodline on my mother's side. He's checking off a lot of the stereotypes of Hollywood involvement, the Mossad stuff, the international brokerage of deals and stuff. He's checking off a lot of the stereotypical, like the Jews run Hollywood and they're blackmailing all the American president stuff. Maybe something into that. Let's look into that. You know, I'm conceding that right there.
The evidence are checking a lot.
The boxes are checking a lot here. We might have to check them out.
So I know that we always sit here and we complain on this show a lot. A lot of this show is complaining, and most of the time it's about Cash Patel or us not getting the answers to Epstein or the JFK assassination or COVID or 9/11. But we're actually slowly starting to get answers about Jeffrey Epstein, and we're learning new information every day. So I know that you guys want to do this. I don't have time. I have to go to a prep meeting.
He has to go. We got to go.
Humberto has to go as well. So, guys, first, Jake, again, where can people find you? X is where everybody can find you, but your campaign donations, your run for Senate, people can make campaign contributions. Also, find out more about your campaign where?
Oh, I don't want to complain. I want to say thank you so much, Rob.
No.
I'm just saying in general to change it. I'm grateful to be home. I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful what's happening in our country, and I'm grateful for all the listeners out there and that this channel's growing. Please retweet this video, share it out there, guys. I'm in an attitude of gratitude the rest of my life. Follow me on X, Jake Lang. Go to my campaign website, takebackthecapital.com. Thank you, guys. Great to meet everybody here.
Hey, thank you, and good luck, and good luck to you, the city of New York City. Good luck today.
We might need a part 2 with this guy.
Yeah, and if we have to demand action in New York City, Will you take us there if we need to fight for the rights
We're
of New
going
Yorkers again?
to City Hall.
All right. Hey, thank you to Connor working hard behind the scenes.
Jake
Thank you
in
to
the back.
Jake, Julius, and Malik. Thank you to Humberto, Vinnie for joining us, and especially our guest today, Jake Lang. Thank you for watching at home. Make sure you like and subscribe and join us again next Tuesday right here, 6 p.m. on The Unusual Suspects. Take care.